Let's talk about Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears, because I do believe that the Chicago Bears are headed into the right situation right now. We all know that they're going to select Caleb Williams with the first overall pick. It all depends on what they're going to do with the ninth pick. They could trade back with that pick. They could draft an offensive lineman with that pick, or they can go with a wide receiver like Malik Nabers or Rome Odunze. And I do want to talk about the offense first before I get into the defense. Caleb Williams is a superstar quarterback coming from USC. For the first time in a very long time, the Chicago Bears may have their franchise quarterback that can lead them to long-term success. And I do hope that that is the case. You could say that Caleb Williams has the biggest potential to be a bust out of this draft class. That may be true. But at the same time, it's not like the Chicago Bears are going to ask this kid to go out there and carry the offense solely on his back. They have some elite talent with this team. This is not the same Chicago Bears team a couple years ago when they selected Justin Fields. And this is not the same Chicago Bears team when they selected Mitch Trubisky. And I do believe that Caleb Williams is more talented at the quarterback position than Justin Fields and Mitch Trubisky. When you look at Caleb Williams, was a phenomenal player at USC, could carry the offense on his back, can make every single throw that you want him to, and is great inside the pocket as well. One of the best quarterback prospects we have ever seen, former Heisman Trophy winner, and he's never had high interceptions in his entire collegiate career. And you have that elite talent around him as well. I want to start off with DJ Moore, who is a true number one wide receiver. When you look at DJ Moore, this is a man that has played on some bad football teams, but yet he's always put up some very good numbers. And it wasn't like the teams were force-feeding him either. This season, with playing with Justin Fields and Tyson playing a couple games as well, he had 96 receptions for 1,364 receiving yards and 8 receiving touchdowns, and he averaged 14 yards a catch. He is phenomenal. He's a great playmaker, and let's not act like the first half of the season didn't happen. Luke Getsy was basically just putting screen passes on this guy over and over again behind the line of scrimmage. When they went against the Washington Commanders, that is when he started to explode on the field. This man is phenomenal, is a true number one wide receiver, and is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. They also made a trade to go out there and get Keenan Allen as well. Keenan Allen is an older wide receiver, but he can still ball. You just worry about his health on the field. The thing is with Keenan Allen, he was a great wide receiver this season for the Los Angeles Chargers. One of the best seasons of his career. 108 receptions, 1,243 receiving yards on the season, 7 receiving touchdowns. He's not going to go out there and just take the top off the defense consistently, but he's one of the best route runners in the NFL. Great hands, and just smooth in the open field, and I still love his game. He's a great veteran to have around a young quarterback like Caleb Williams, because he can make life easy on Caleb Williams as well. And he cannot just go out there and double team Keenan Allen, because you have that monster on the opposite side as well, and DJ Moore. This is when things get very interesting, because like I mentioned before, we know they're going to go with the first overall pick. With the 9th overall pick, they could select another wide receiver. And the reason why I brought up Malik Nabers early in the video, there's a very good chance there's going to be a lot of teams that try to move up to select quarterbacks. So some of those players are going to fall. If they can go out there and get a tackle like a Olu Fashanu, that'll be very interesting. But with the ability to go out there and pair up Malik Nabers or Rome Odunze with both of these wide receivers, that could be a top offense in this division. In the division that has the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings, all those teams can score points with the weapons that they have on the perimeter. So just going out there and getting more weapons with this team is never going to be a negative situation with Chicago Bears. One thing that is interesting, though, they only have 4 picks in this draft class. So they could possibly move down with the 9th overall pick and select another wide receiver, a guy like Troy Franklin or Adonai Mitchell out of Texas. So you can still get that star wide receiver and get some more draft picks as well. But I believe Rome Odunze or Malik Nabers may be too good to pass up for the Chicago Bears. You could trade down later in the NFL draft to get some more players if you were like, because this team does not have that 2nd round pick. They traded that pick to go get Montez Sweat. And I'll get more to that trade when I talk about the defensive side of things. But when I look at this offense, at a wide receiving standpoint, they're stacked. Adding in another wide receiver would be great. I don't believe in Tyler Scott being a true number 3 wide receiver with this team. If he was a number 4 wide receiver, I love that. And on this season, he has 17 catches for 168 yards. He could develop into becoming a very solid receiver with this team, but it's just too soon to see right now. And he's only 22 years old. Cole Kmet was phenomenal this season, had 719 receiving yards, 6 receiving touchdowns. He's a top receiving tight end in the NFL. And the offensive line is solid with Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright at the right tackle position. Darnell Wright actually looked like a superstar tackle for the last 6 weeks of the season. You went out and you got Nate Davis in last year's free agency class. The thing is with Nate Davis, he just has to stay healthy. In the games that he played this season, he looked fine. He just has to stay healthy with this team. And you have Tevin Jenkins at the left guard position as well. So you have some solid offensive linemen with this team. It's not me just going out there and saying, hey, that the offensive line is going to be a top tier offensive line in the NFL, but they're solid right now. And they fit the system of Shane Waldron, who is a brand new offensive coordinator with this squad. Now let's talk about the defense, because this is going to be the top unit within the Bears organization. I know a lot of people are saying, hey, you have Caleb Williams. It's going to be the Caleb Williams show. That may be the case. But one thing about Matt Eberflus, he's a defensive head coach. You're just not going to be able to change that. Sure, he's going to have a huge emphasis on what they should do on the offensive side of things, but he's a defensive guy. He's a former linebackers coach. He has not been the best coach with the Chicago Bears as of late, but I do believe that he deserves to have one more chance with the Chicago Bears. When you look at Matt Eberflus, he's had a great track record in the past of being a very good defensive coach. And this is a defense this season that was very good. They were a top rushing defense. It was hard to run the football on the Chicago Bears. And the secondary play was very good as well because of the front seven. When they made that trade to go get Montez Sweat, their defense took a complete 180. They looked completely different when he stepped onto the field. Montez Sweat is the first player in NFL history to not only lead one team in sacks, but to also lead a team that traded for him in sacks as well. He led the Washington Commanders and the Chicago Bears in sacks, and they signed him to a long-term extension as soon as they traded for him. 12.5 sacks on the season, and I do think that he's going to continue to get better over time. He is still young. He's starting to hit the prime of his career. And you look at the defensive tackles with this team. Andrew Billings is solid. And the pass rush started to look better for the last 6 weeks of the season as well. He did not record a sack this season, but he can go back there and he can put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. You have Gervin Dexter Sr., who is a very good defensive tackle. The thing is with Gervin Dexter Sr., he started to touch the quarterback. 2.5 sacks recorded on the season, and he's an elite run stopper as well. And you also have Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. A couple years ago when they traded Roquan Smith, a lot of Chicago Bear fans, they hated that move. And I'm not calling Tremaine Edmonds or TJ Edwards Roquan Smith, because I believe Roquan Smith is the best interior linebacker in the NFL. But having those two linebackers together, that's a very good duo with this team. When you look at Tremaine Edmonds this season, this man had 4 interceptions. That's crazy, with 1 forced fumble and 69 solo tackles. And he's an elite tackler. The same with TJ Edwards as well. 91 solo tackles, 2.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 3 interceptions. They're both good in pass coverage, and they fit the system of Matt Eberflus. They're going to get better as well. And don't get me started on the secondary, because Jalen Johnson was the best corner in the NFL this season. 4 interceptions, 10 pass deflections, and 1 forced fumble. There are a lot of talks around the trade deadline where they go out there and trade Jalen Johnson. Instead, they went out there and they paid Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson is a top corner in the NFL, and he's going to continue to be a beast with this team for the next couple of years. You also have Tyrique Stevenson, who played very good. Tyrique Stevenson this season was a true number 2 corner. And on the back half of this season, this kid like a number 1 corner. 65 solo tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 4 interceptions, and 16 pass deflections. Phenomenal. The quarterbacks were scared to throw the way of Jalen Johnson, so they went towards Tyrique's way, and he made them pay. And you did go out there and you did sign Kevin Byard. This team went out there and they cut Eddie Jackson. He was not the same safety. He had a terrible season this season with the Chicago Bears. He did not look the same. But bringing in a guy like Kevin Byard, who is a solid safety to have at this stage of his career, he is still capable of going out there and taking the football away and just being a very good playmaking safety. He hasn't looked the same the last couple of years with the Tennessee Titans, but the Tennessee Titans were in a bad situation. He did not look the same with the Philadelphia Eagles as well. He did have a great game against the Kansas City Chiefs, but he's playing behind a very good linebacking team, a linebacking duo, and a very good front seven as a whole. And he's playing alongside elite corners. He's never played alongside elite corners in his career before. You have Tyrique and Jalen Johnson, who are both out of this world. So it's going to make life easier on Kevin Byard as well. And the way that a guy like their head coach and Matt Eberflus can use him, I think they're going to be in a great situation moving forward. Do not sleep on the Chicago Bears. You can make the case right now that the Chicago Bears may have the best defense in this division. But these other teams in this division are tough. The Detroit Lions are a tough team to beat. The same with the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. So I'm not going to come on here and just say, hey, they have Caleb Williams. They're going to go to the NFL playoffs. I have my questions about Matt Eberflus, the head coach. We will see if they can be better for his upcoming season. If not, they may move off of him. But I think that Caleb Williams is going to a great situation with the Chicago Bears. And I think that the Chicago Bears are going to be a tough team to beat over the next couple of years. And I know a lot of people are upset with the fact that they traded away Justin Fields. I think this was the best situation for Justin Fields. You put that kid to a new system with the Steelers. He may be able to flourish over there. We will see. But you start over with Caleb Williams. And Ryan Poles did not select Justin Fields. He finally gets his guy. If Caleb Williams is a hit, Ryan Poles is going to be looked at as one of the best general managers in recent history for the simple fact that they made that trade last year with the Carolina Panthers. And right now, it seemed like that they went out there and they robbed the Carolina Panthers, because not only did you get DJ Moore, you're also going to be getting your potential franchise quarterback in Caleb Williams. But let me know in the comment section below, do you guys believe that the Chicago Bears will be a top tier team in the NFC with Caleb Williams, and do you believe that he will be a bust or not? And I also have this question as well. What should they do with that 9th overall pick? Should they draft a wide receiver, or should they trade down to get more draft picks? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, when each and every last one, guys, stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.